April 4th, 2023. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the Thinkorswim platform, 2000 tick chart. You can look at the descriptions below to see where I took my trades, as well as where I thought I might have seen setups. No guarantees that the setups are actually valid, but they're just for my own learning process. So this is how I marked up the charts today. I took 6 trades, and unfortunately I lost on 4, so I got kind of beat up today. I'm going to make these kind of clear it up a little bit. Looks like overall the market was in a sell-off, kind of a bearish downtrend. Very, very steady and gradual. There were some consolidation areas and a lot of congestion areas. So in hindsight, after looking at things, I think a few of my trades were definitely a bit ambitious. And the only takeaway that I can say is, only positive takeaway is I did follow my rules of not moving my stop losses, because I noticed that I did consider at times moving my stop loss to give prices more room. But I also remember that I shouldn't do that, just because if I'm wrong on the trade, I should just get the heck out and let the stop loss do its work and, protect the account. So this is kind of what I saw today. I'm going to go through the trades. You can see the blue ones are what I thought I saw trades and actually took trades. And then the red ones are setups that I also saw. So let's get into it. And the pre-market, I drew the bottom right here and I saw the top, and originally thought we were going to be in a trading range. But then as soon as the market opened, we were already in this downtrend. This downtrend is actually a little bit tighter. I only had this one drawn, and I think I had this one drawn a little bit tighter. But then I kind of expanded it a little bit further when I saw this, because originally when I had it right here, I didn't like the overshoot, and I also had it slightly down there. And so I didn't see any good setups here at the moment. Prices continue moving down. I saw potentially a new high here, and this hasn't been validated yet because it only touched twice, twice. But I saw a new high here, first entry long, and the second entry long. It's a decent signal bar, but it's pretty far from the EMA. And also, at this point, I also not arbitrarily, but I drew the top here and I had this bottom. So it did touch 3 times. So this is potentially a trade, but I wasn't sure if I was in a true valid trading range. But I think this trade here probably would have been good enough, and potentially a trade that I might have missed. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it. I didn't mark it before. So just say second entry long. Then prices moved up, and this is actually where I took my first trade. I saw this as a new low. I saw a first entry short, and I saw a second entry short. I saw this candle form, which was looking like this in real time, and I thought, okay, well, I'm confirmed just now this third touch, and I confirmed 3 touches down at the bottom. You count it as a fourth, depending how you drew the channel. And I thought, okay, well, it didn't break through the EMA. It also bounced off of this top thing. So I thought that, since there's a third touch and it's coming back down, it was worth a trade. So I entered it, and I got in on this next tick, and then it came up. It hasn't stopped me out yet. And I thought, okay, I might survive. And then this candle stops me out. So this one was kind of, I don't know, a little frustrating, because I thought I read the chart correctly, but obviously I didn't. And I think the bottom of this trading range, even though I'm kind of coming back toward the bottom and potentially selling at the bottom when I should be buying, I wasn't 100% sure, because this top hasn't been confirmed as the top of the trading range yet. It's just 2 guidelines. And so I don't have any confirmation here. So I wasn't 100% sure it was going to move all the way back up. So I thought I saw 2 key entry points, EMA and this descending thing. So yeah, I was just a little surprised that it, not surprised, but just a little disappointed that it didn't work, because I thought I read the chart correctly. And then prices continue moving up. It overshoots, comes back down, overshoots pretty strongly, comes back down here. I don't have this drawn yet until later. Comes back. I think I see this consolidation area. As with a lot of previous days, it looks like there's a lot of second entries all over the place, because prices are a little choppy. But even though there's second entries, they're not high probability second entries. So I try to kind of weed those out just so it doesn't give me heartache. Then prices continue moving down. This is where I take my second trade. So this is where I saw potentially a new high, first entry long, comes down. And at this point, I do have this trading range established, because I thought, okay, it's kind of like a spike, and then it kind of starts moving in this channel. Granted, this top of this channel could be a little higher, but it doesn't matter for this case. And I thought I saw a pretty good consolidating bottom with 4 touches, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I saw this form, I will admit that this is probably not the best signal candle, but I saw it as a bounce off the EMA. It's a bit neutral. The EMA itself is pretty flat, so it doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't really come into play because it shot up above and back down through it. So I thought, okay, what really matters is this trading range. And so I went ahead and took it thinking, okay, it's a second entry long. And it fills me right here. So I thought, okay, this is so far so good. I'm expecting it to move all the way back to the top here. Then this big bar flashes down and takes me out. Now, there was some economic data today, but this is already past the economic data. It happened today at around 7 o'clock. So it's about right here is the jobs report. So it already did this chop and then it was already settling out. So I thought this is at the time, I thought it was okay trade. Granted, this signal bar wasn't the best. It turned out to be like a first entry long, second entry long failure. So it's like a failed second entry long. So I think in hindsight, what I could have done better is maybe just wait for the close of this trigger bar. But even when this bar closed up here, because this is technically the signal bar and this would be the trigger bar, I think I would have placed my entry probably 1 tick above this anyway. So I think I would have lost either way. So unfortunately, just the second loss in a row. And so then just kind of sat on my hands, licked my wounds. Prices continue moving down. It goes into this trend channel and it breaks out. So it makes a new low. Now here, I had this as a support and a possible trading range. And now it's breaking out. I'm thinking it might be a failed breakout. So here I saw a new low, first entry short, second entry short, comes all the way back up. I will say that this one is aggressive because the failure didn't fully form yet because it didn't break above this guy. So this is still a second entry short. Now, when I saw this, I took a gamble. Well, I took a risk because I said it came and pressed against this several times, like 5 candles. And I'm thinking there's a lot of shorts that have their stops right here because most likely when you took first entry short, second entry short, when you went short here, thinking it's going to come back down, continuing this downtrend, you're probably going to put your stop 1 tick above. And so when this one pressed all the way up, I thought, okay, I'm going to put the next order, I'm going to put my next candle, I'm going to put my order 1 tick here. In case it hits, it should flush up and come back into this in case this is a true fail breakout. It picks me up and then it does go up. So this is a green trade. So red trade, and finally a green trade. So that was kind of nice. I will admit this one looked like it could have struggled and then kind of came back down, but this one was, in context, I thought a pretty decent, okay trade. Prices continue moving up. Comes back down, breaks back below the EMA. I have this shortened trend channel. It doesn't fit very well as an overshoot down to the bottom, and then it just kind of consolidates a little bit. Then it continues moving down. EMA is giving prices trouble again. And then here I see another consolidation area. I didn't draw the lines though. I'm just sitting on my hands now because I'm not really sure what's going on, but I do notice that prices are starting to get bearish. So I'm kind of abandoning the idea that this is a trading range. So right now at that time, I just went ahead and chopped this off. I can always extend it later, but I just didn't want this muddling up my charts because I felt like it's probably breaking down now. I did have this drawn at one time because I did say 3 touches. And then I also had this actually was a little higher. It's a little bit, didn't want to drag all that. I'm going to push it up. It was kind of like right here. And at one time I thought maybe it's actually a little bit higher. I treated this as an overshoot. But as you can see, I didn't really like that this is overshooting twice. So I did drag it down to here. But then I didn't get very good confirmation. So I wasn't sure really where the bottom was at this point. So then prices continue moving down. I saw a second entry short here. It wasn't very convincing though, because EMA is holding prices down. I saw a new low, first entry short, second entry short. The signal bar, if it was a little bit cleaner, more bearish, and it actually went up and touched, then I think I would have taken this trade. I did have this trend channel drawn a little bit tighter, so it actually looked a little bit more like this at the time. And so it could have been another confirmation, but I really wanted the EMA to touch, but it didn't. So kind of left that trade alone. Turns out it would have worked out well. And then this is where I took my 4th trade. After seeing this, I thought, okay, well, obviously prices are still going down. It broke out of this, so I had to be careful. Saw a new low, first entry short, saw a potential second entry short setting up, so I got my order ready. I got filled here because I thought EMA is holding, rejected it twice. It came up, opened here, came down. I got filled down here, and I thought I thought this was going to be a good trade just because the EMA is showing, in this case, like some resistance to prices trying to move up. And it's chopping around, and it takes me out on this candle because I had it one tick above. So again, just sitting back thinking about this, I think in hindsight, after this break of this channel, it made one push up. I should have waited to see if it's going to make a second push up before coming back down to test the extreme, which I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to come up and then come back down and test the extreme. Now, this signal bar was kind of not the best. If it would close a little bit lower, probably would have given me more confidence. However, since I already took the trade, it wouldn't have mattered anyways. I would have gotten taken out here, but it looks like it made one leg up, two legs up. So just kind of note to myself to be a little more patient next time, to kind of be aware of this type of setup. But yeah, it's kind of a hindsight. So I got beat up on that trade. So it's like 3 red trades and 1 green so far. Prices continue chopping around. It's in this trading range. I'm not taking anything at this point. I mean, this is a new high, first entry long, second entry long, but this isn't a very good candle. It is at the bottom of the trading range. But then this also trading range is pretty tight. It's only about 3.5 to 4 ticks, 3.5 to 4 points. So I didn't really want to risk anything at this point. EMA is flattening out. Prices continue moving. So at this time, I didn't really like how this is not really being respected. So I thought perhaps I'm just going to go ahead and drag it down right now just to see. Just kind of brought it down to here. This also made the midline of this trading channel look a little cleaner. So it looks like it had some bullish bias and then bearish bias at the bottom. So that it looked a little bit better than having all those overshoots. Prices continue moving down. I draw the short and trend channel. I didn't see a good place to enter. It kind of looks like it was bottoming. It kind of made the low of the day, but you don't know that at the time. It moves one strong leg up. So I thought, okay, there might be a measured move here. Makes a first entry short, comes up. It's going to test this new high because it broke out of here. It tests the new high, and here where I thought I saw a second entry short failure. So the way I counted it, which may have been incorrect, because it's from this new low, I saw a first entry short, then a second entry short. Then I restarted the count, so first entry short, second entry short. I also saw it as one big visual, one leg up, first entry short, second leg up, second entry short. So both of those look like, on this next candle, I thought it was a failure. So I waited, I entered on this green bar too early because it's too far from the EMA, ends up, not being a failed second entry short. It really was a second entry short. It's just like a small little micro blip. So in this case, yes, it could be considered a technically first entry short, second entry short, and in this candle makes it fail. But I should have waited to see how, because it didn't close as strong as it could have, and also as far from the EMA, and it flashed back down. So this trade was probably a little, I guess, too ambitious, and I don't think I really read this setup correctly. So at best, it was kind of like a no trade, should let it go, and at worst, it was what it was, a losing trade. Prices continue moving, and now it's in this trend channel. So I thought, okay, it's just kind of, it breaks out multiple times. I tried to drag this up at one time, thinking it might be cleaner up here, but I just kind of liked it better down here and just had this continuous overshoot, and then a true big overshoot here, and I thought it might come back down and test the bottom here. Prices continue up. So I saw a failed second entry long, because new high, first entry long, second entry long, and it fails on this candle, but it's coming right into the EMA. I didn't want to take that. It's also counter trend at the moment. EMA looks like it is kind of holding. Goes down. I said, for me to actually take a short to respect this big bearish momentum coming down, because it did touch 2 more times now. So I'm feeling confident about this as being a resistance. And this down here really only touched, well, I guess you could say confirmed 3 times. So I do believe I'm working inside a trading range with at least this being a clear resistance. So when I saw this failure, I said, I will take a trade if I see a lower high. So then prices come along and they provide me a lower high. I see this spike up, and on this next candle, I saw this break 1 tick below. I don't enter on this candle though, because I wasn't sure. This big candle is very congested against this candle. I thought I need to see the next candle after this guy to see, because it is right against this ascending trend line, because it could bounce again, which would make sense. I saw this and I thought, okay, it's clearly going and breaking back below here now. So it could make one leg, pull up, and then make a second leg. And I thought, okay, if there's a second leg, then I want to enter one tick below this guy. So after this candle closed, I set my order right here. And I was lucky that it filled, and I had my stop one tick above here. And this turned out to be probably the second winning trade, and it was probably the best, well, I can't say it's a really awesome trade, but it's the best trade of the day. Because as you can see, it almost stopped me out up here because I was getting nervous, but I stuck to my guns and said, I'm not going to move the stop and I'm not going to move my profit target until, one of them hits. And this one comes up, almost meets it again, but I'm still one tick above here. Prices then finally drop out and I get my core off. And then now I'm just dragging and watching my runner. And finally I got my runner pulled off right here. So it went one leg, pulled up, and then made the second leg here. So that was kind of nice. Then prices continue moving up. It kind of chops sideways. And here it's kind of toward, I did see a new high here, first entry long, and it's like too far for second entry long because I didn't have this drawn as a trading range yet to confirm that, it's going to bounce off of here because this is all I saw at the moment. And you have to ignore that this line exists because it only comes into play right here when I draw it here. And it turns out, it would have worked, but depending on how many ticks you're going after, you could also get stopped out before you got your profit target down on this guy. So it continues chopping left and right, breaks out, overshoots. I did see potentially a new low here, because it's actually a new low here, first entry short, second entry short, potentially a third entry short, but you can count these together, so it'll be first entry short, one leg up, first entry short, then second leg up, second entry short. Then you can restart the count here, which is what I was thinking. Moves one leg up, first entry short, second leg up, second entry short. There's also a failed breakout, but this is a pretty strong bull bar, so I didn't really like it, and it was coming right into the EMA. So I saw this setup, but I didn't really think it was worth taking a risk. Prices continue moving down, chop sideways, then it kind of moves up, and this is kind of where it goes into the close. So two winning trades, 4 losing trades. A couple of them, I thought they were good setups, but unfortunately they didn't work out for me. Just kind of name of the game. I'll have to study them more carefully, watch some more YouTube videos of other traders that are more experienced to get a good idea. So in the end, the only takeaway that I have was that I didn't move my stop losses, which is good because I have a tendency to do that and to take bigger losses than I should. Just like getting better at accepting that I'm wrong and taking the loss. So hopefully that was helpful.